He was supposed to marry Ava. That was the deal. That was the alliance. That was the future written for him in ink that could not be erased. But the first time Kang Jae-min saw Ivy standing in the doorway of his home, hair falling in soft curls around a face that made him forget the woman he was supposed to want, something in him went quiet. Not loud, not violent, dangerously quiet. He told himself it didn't matter. She was just his fiancé's sister, just a guest, just a girl passing through his world. But then she smiled at him, and his heart, silent for years, woke up. That was the moment everything changed. That was the first mistake. He would spend the rest of his life paying for it. Hey family, before this story begins, I want you to do something real quick. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. Your comments fuel these stories. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because what happens next will leave you speechless. The boardroom fell silent the moment Kang Jae-min walked in. Not because he demanded it, because everyone in that room had learned, over time, that silence was safer. The glass walls of the top floor reflected the city like a crown. Seoul stretched beneath them, alive and shining, but inside the room, the air was tight. Jae-min took his seat at the head of the table without looking at anyone. "Start," he said. A man to his left cleared his throat. "The Jong family is moving again. They've been buying through shell companies." "And?" Jae-min asked. "And they're stepping into your territory." Jae-min didn't raise his voice. He didn't even change his expression. "Then they're either very brave," he said, "or very stupid." A few people shifted in their chairs. "Which one do you think they are?" another man asked carefully. Jae-min looked at him. "It doesn't matter. Make sure the doors close before they realize they walked into the wrong room." "Yes, sir." This was how he ruled. No shouting, no threats, just consequences. When the meeting ended, his assistant, Mr. Han, followed him into the private office. "There's one more thing," Mr. Han said. "The Carter family's representatives called again. They want to confirm the engagement timeline." Jae-min stopped walking. "How eager," he said. "They're worried," Mr. Han replied. "Since Chairman Carter passed, they want to make sure the alliance doesn't—" "It won't," Jae-min said calmly. "The agreement stands." Mr. Han hesitated. "There are other families watching. If you were to back out now—" "I won't," Jae-min said, because backing out didn't just mean breaking an engagement. It meant opening his back to people who had been waiting for years to put a knife there. That evening, Ava sat in a private lounge overlooking the river, surrounded by women who all looked like they belonged in magazines. "Are you nervous?" one of them asked, swirling her drink. "About marrying the most untouchable man in Korea?" Another laughed. "I would be." Ava smiled politely. "There's nothing to be nervous about." One of them leaned closer. "He barely looks at you." The words were said lightly, casually, but they landed. "He's not a man who performs in public," Eva replied. "That's part of his charm." "Still," another said, tilting her head, "I've seen him look at people before. Just, not you." They all laughed like it was a joke. Eva laughed too, but something cold moved in her chest. 2 days later, Ivy Carter arrived in Seoul. She stood at the exit of the airport with her suitcase and a tired look in her eyes, feeling like she had stepped into someone else's life. Eva hugged her a little too tightly. "You look thinner." "You look busy," Ivy replied gently. "Let's go home." Home. The word felt strange. The house was quiet when they arrived. Too quiet. Eva's heels clicked on the floor as they walked in. "He might not be home yet," Eva said. As if summoned by the words, a voice came from the hallway. "I am." Ivy turned, and that was when she saw him. He wasn't dramatic. He wasn't loud. He was just there. Tall. Still. Watching. "This is my sister," Eva said. "Ivy." Jae-min looked at her. Not the way men usually looked at beautiful women. Not with hunger, not with interest, with assessment. "Welcome," he said. "Thank you for having me," Ivy replied. Their eyes met, and something in him, something that had been locked away for a very long time, shifted. He didn't know what it was. He only knew the silence inside him had changed. Dinner that night was formal. Eva talked, Ivy listened, Jae-min observed. "So, you're staying for a while?" he asked Ivy. "Yes, just until I figure things out." "You're welcome. Here," he said. Eva looked at him surprised. "Thank you," Ivy said. Later in their bedroom, Eva said, "You were very quiet at dinner." "He always is," Eva added quickly. Ivy nodded. "He's intense." Eva smiled. "That's one word for it." But when Ivy went to sleep, Eva stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about her friend's words, thinking about the way he had looked at her sister. In his study, Jae-min stood by the window, phone in hand. "Eva's sister is in the house?" Mr. Han said on the other end. "Yes. Do you want me to increase security?" "For now," Jae-min said, "just make sure the house remains calm." He didn't know why he chose that word, only that something in his world had just changed. The meeting was not in Kang Group's building. It was in a private room behind a private restaurant that did not appear on any map. The men around the table were not executives. They were owners. Jae-min arrived exactly on time. They stood when he entered, not because they liked him, because they feared him. "You're late," one of them said carefully. "No," Jae-min replied. "You're early." No one argued, they sat. "The Carter Alliance is holding," one man said. "For now." "For now is not good enough," another added. "Chairman Carter is dead. His people are nervous. Your enemies are watching." Jae-min folded his hands. "Then let them watch." "You're marrying his daughter," the man continued. "That's the only reason the Western doors are still open to you." Jae-min did not deny it. "You break that engagement," another said, "and you lose more than access. You lose protection. And you gain a war," the first finished. Jae-min's eyes were calm. "I don't plan to break it." When he returned home that evening, the house felt louder, not in sound, in presence. He noticed Ivy's shoes by the door. He did not stop. He did not look, but he noticed. At dinner, Eva was animated. "I had lunch with Mira and Jiye today," she said. "They're hosting a charity gala next week." "You should go," Jae-min replied. "They asked if you would attend." "I'll send a donation." Eva smiled thinly. "They asked for you." He looked at her. "Why?" "Because," she said lightly, "people are curious." "About what?" "About us." He did not answer. Ivy watched the exchange quietly. 2 days later, Eva sat in a bright cafe with 3 women who looked like they owned the city. "You're very lucky," Mira said. "Do you know that?" Eva smiled. "I do." "Do you?" Jiye asked. "Because sometimes it doesn't look like it." "What does that mean?" Mira leaned in. "We saw him at the gallery opening last week." Eva's smile didn't move. "And?" "He was watching someone," Jiye said. Eva's fingers tightened slightly around her cup. "Who?" Mira hesitated. "Your sister." Silence fell. "That's ridiculous," Eva said. "Is it?" Jiye asked. "He didn't even notice anyone else." Eva laughed. "You're imagining things." But that night, when she watched Jae-min and Ivy sit at the same table without speaking, she found herself watching more closely than before. Later, in the hallway, Ivy said to Jae-min, "Your world feels heavy." He looked at her. "It is." "Does it ever stop?" "No." She nodded. "That sounds lonely." He did not respond. That weekend, Ivy went out with Daniel again. When she returned, Eva was waiting in the living room. "You're seeing him a lot." "Yes." "Are you serious?" "I don't know yet, but he's kind." Eva studied her. "Just be careful." "Of what?" "Of this world." Ivy smiled. "I don't plan to stay in it forever." That night, Eva told Jae-min, "My sister is getting attached to someone." "That's her choice," he said. "Is it?" He looked at her. "What does that mean?" "Nothing," Eva replied. "Just don't forget who you're marrying." He said nothing. In his study later, Mr. Han said, "The Zhang family moved again today." "Where?" "Closer." Jamin's voice was calm. "Then they're getting impatient." "And the house?" "Double security," Jamin said, quietly. "For Eva's sister as well? For everyone under my roof." That night, Jamin stood by the window again, looking at the city. He told himself, "This is temporary. She is just a guest. The house will return to normal." He did not know yet that his definition of normal had already begun to change. Ivy did not plan to confront him. It just happened. She had been sitting in the small sitting room near the garden, staring at her laptop and not really seeing the screen, when she heard his footsteps in the hallway. She didn't even look up at first. "Do you always walk like you're trying not to exist?" she asked without thinking. The footsteps stopped. The silence stretched. Then calmly, "I prefer not to announce myself." She looked up. He was standing by the door, jacket over his arm, as usual looking like he had just stepped out of a different world. "That figures," she said. He studied her for a moment. "Is something wrong?" She laughed softly. "That's a dangerous question. If you don't answer it, yes." She closed her laptop. "Do you always talk like everything is a negotiation?" "Only when it is." "And what is this?" she asked, gesturing vaguely around the room. "A negotiation." He didn't sit. He never did when he didn't have to. "This is my house," he said. "You're a guest. If something is making you uncomfortable, you should say it." She hesitated. Then, "Your house doesn't feel like a house." He waited. "It feels like a headquarters, like everything is monitored, measured, controlled." "That's because it is." She blinked. "You're not even going to deny it?" "No. That's unsettling." "This is not a place built for comfort," he said. "It's built for order." "And where does that leave people?" she asked. "Real people?" He looked at her as if that question had never been part of the design. "People adapt," he said, "or they suffocate." Their eyes held. "Which one are you doing?" he asked. She looked away first. "I don't know," she admitted. "That's kind of the problem." She stood up and walked to the window. "When Eva asked me to stay here, I thought it would just be quiet, a place to breathe. But it feels like I'm borrowing someone else's air." "This is temporary," he said. "So is everything," she replied. "That doesn't make it easy." He was quiet. "You don't belong in this world," he said finally. She turned. "I didn't say I wanted to." "Good." Something about the way he said it annoyed her. "Do you talk to everyone like this, or is it a special privilege?" He considered the question. "Most people don't talk to me like you do." "And how do they talk to you?" "Carefully." She smiled a little. "That sounds exhausting." "It's efficient." "For who?" "For everyone who wants to leave the room alive." She stared at him. "You say things like that and expect people not to feel tense around you." "I don't expect anything," he said. "I manage reality." "And what about Ava?" she asked. "Does she manage reality too, or does she just live in yours?" The question landed. He didn't answer immediately. "That's not your concern," he said. "She's my sister. Everything about her is my concern. She's not a child." "Neither am I," Ivy said. "But I feel like one here." He walked a little closer. Not threatening, not gentle, just closer. "You're under my roof," he said. "There are risks you don't see." "And you think I don't understand danger?" she asked. "My father just died. I watched a man I thought was unbreakable disappear in a hospital bed. Don't talk to me like I don't understand what the world can do." For the first time, something in his expression shifted. Not much, but enough. "I'm not talking about emotional danger," he said quietly. "I'm talking about real ones." "Then maybe you should stop living in a way that invites them," she said. A beat, then very calmly, "This world exists whether I live in it or not." "Then why does it feel like it's swallowing everything around you?" she asked. Including Eva, she didn't say. Including me, she didn't realize she was thinking. Silence fell between them again. He broke it. "You don't have to stay here," he said. "If you want to leave, no one is stopping you." She looked at him. "That's not true." "Explain." "Everything here tells you to stay. The walls, the staff, the way everyone looks at you before they decide what they're allowed to do. That's not my problem. It is if you created it." He studied her. "You're not afraid of me," he said. "I don't think you're a monster," she replied. "I think you're lonely." The words sat between them like a fragile thing. "That's not a useful observation," he said. "It's a human one." She sighed. "I'm looking for an apartment," she said suddenly. He didn't react, not outwardly. "Good," he said. "You should have your own space." She searched his face. "You don't care?" "It's logical." "Not even a little?" "No." She nodded slowly. "Good. Then we agree on something." They stood, there for another moment. Then he said, "For what it's worth, you're not a burden here." She looked at him. "I know," she said, "but I don't want to be a fixture either." "That's your choice." "Good." She picked up her laptop. "Thank you for listening," she said. He nodded once and watched her leave. Later that night, he stood in his study and stared at the city again. He told himself, "She doesn't belong here. She's leaving. This will return to normal." But the house already felt different, quieter in the wrong places. Eva knew her friends too well to believe in innocent conversations. Mira chose the cafe. Ji-hye chose the table. Yuna chose the wine. That was how their meetings always went when something important was about to be discussed. "So," Mira said lightly, folding her sunglasses and placing them on the table, "how is life in the palace?" Eva smiled. "It's not a palace." "Of course it is," Ji-hye said. "It just doesn't have tourists." Yuna laughed. "Does he still come and go like a ghost?" "He's busy," Eva replied. "That's not new." Mira tilted her head. "Busy men still notice what's in front of them." Eva didn't respond. Ji-hye leaned forward. "We saw him at the charity planning dinner last week." Eva's fingers tightened around her glass. "You already told me." "Yes," Ji-hye said, "but we didn't tell you the part you didn't want to hear." Silence. "He wasn't watching you," Mira said gently. "He was watching your sister." Eva laughed, too quickly. "You're all obsessed with this." "Are we?" Yuna asked. "Because we're not the ones who live with him." Mira's voice softened. "Eva, when was the last time he looked at you the way a man looks at the woman he's about to marry?" The question landed like a slap. "That's not how our relationship works," Eva said. "It's not emotional." Ji-hye blinked. "Then what is it?" "It's stable," Eva said. "It's powerful. It's secure." "And cold," Yuna added. Eva's smile thinned. "Cold is not the same as empty." Mira reached across the table and touched Eva's wrist. "We're not trying to scare you. We're trying to protect you." "From what?" "From being replaced," Ji-hye said quietly. Eva's breath caught. "That's ridiculous," she said. "I'm not replaceable." "Every woman is," Yuna replied, not unkindly, "to men like him." Silence sat between them. Mira spoke carefully. "He brought her into his house." "She's my sister," Eva said. "She's grieving." "And she's beautiful," Ji-hye said. "And she's not afraid of him." That last part stayed. When Eva got home that evening, she did not go to her room. She went to find Ivy. She found her in the small sitting room surrounded by apartment listings. "You're really serious about this," Eva said. Ivy looked up. "About moving out, yes." "Why?" "Because I need my own life back." "Are we that unbearable?" Ivy smiled gently. "No, but this house is not mine." Eva hesitated. "Did he say something to you?" "No." "Did he do something?" "No." "Then why does it feel like you're running away?" Ivy closed her laptop. "I'm not running. I'm just continuing." Eva nodded slowly. "Just be careful." Ivy looked at her. "Of what?" "Of getting caught between things that don't belong to you." Later that night, Ivy found Jay Mean in the study. He was working. Of course he was. "Do you have a moment?" she asked. Yes. She walked in and stood in front of his desk. "I found an apartment." That was fast. "I've been looking for weeks." "Where?" "Near the river. It's small, but it's bright." He nodded. "When do you move?" "As soon as they approve my application." A pause. "You seem eager," he said. "I am." "Why?" She frowned. "I don't think I owe you an explanation." "You don't," he agreed, "but you came here to talk to me." She exhaled. "Your house is a lot. It's not supposed to be easy." "That's the problem. Everything here feels like it belongs to you, even the air." "That's not intentional." "It doesn't have to be," she said. "It's still true." He leaned back slightly. "You're free to leave." "You say that," she replied, "but everything about this place says otherwise." "That's your interpretation." "Is it?" she asked. "Or is it just your control?" His eyes sharpened slightly. "You think I'm trying to control you?" "I think you don't notice when you do." Silence. "You don't understand the world you're in," he said. "I'm not trying to," she replied. "I'm trying to leave it." Another silence, then quietly, "You're safer here." "I don't want to be safe if it means being caged." "This is not a cage. It just feels like one." He studied her for a long moment. "Why does this matter so much to you?" he asked. "Because I'm starting to feel like a guest in my own life," she said, "and I refuse to stay that way." He said nothing. "I'm moving out," she said. "That's not a debate." He nodded slowly. "Then I wish you luck." She searched his face as if expecting resistance. There was none. "Thank you," she said uncertainly. She left. He did not move for a long time. Then he picked up his phone. "Mr. Hahn," he said calmly. "Find out which apartment she applied for." A pause. "And make sure the application doesn't go through." That night, Eva lay awake in her room, and for the first time she didn't wonder if something was wrong. She wondered how much. The third rejection email came in at 9:17 a.m. Ivy stared at her phone like it might change its mind. "We regret to inform you." She didn't even finish reading it. That was the third apartment. The third perfectly fine, affordable, already viewed apartment that had gone from "everything looks good" to "we're sorry, the owner has decided to move forward with another applicant." She dropped her phone onto the bed and covered her face with her hands. This is ridiculous. She had good credit. She had references. She had offered extra deposit. Nothing made sense. At breakfast, Eva noticed her mood immediately. "You look like you're about to declare war." "I might," Ivy muttered. "On who?" "The Seoul housing market." Eva smiled faintly. "Still no luck?" "3 rejections in a row." "That's strange." "Yes," Ivy said. "That's the word." She pushed her plate away. "I'm going to talk to the agent again." She did, and the answer was the same vague, polite, infuriating nothing. "It's not about you, Miss Carter. The owner just changed their mind." 3 different owners? Ivy asked. The woman smiled apologetically. "Sometimes these things happen." Ivy hung up and stared at the wall. Something was wrong. That evening, she found Jay Mean in the study. He was working. Of course he was. "Do you have a minute?" she asked. "Yes." She walked in and didn't sit. "I need to ask you something, and I want a straight answer." He looked at her. "Ask." "I've been rejected from 3 apartments." "That's unfortunate." "Don't do that," she said sharply. "Do what?" "Act like you don't know why." Silence. "You think I have something to do with it," he said. "I think," she replied, "that you're the only person in this city powerful enough to make something like this happen without leaving fingerprints." Studied her calmly. "That's not proof. It's instinct. And you're accusing me based on that?" "I'm asking you," she said. "Did you do this?" "No." The answer came too fast, too clean. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You're lying." "I don't lie without reason." So there is a reason, she shot back. He stood up, slowly. I don't control the real estate market. You control everything else, she said. Why not this? This is paranoia. This is pattern, she replied. Ever since I said I was moving out, everything has become impossible. That's coincidence. Is it? She asked. Or is it your idea of protection? His eyes sharpened slightly. I told you, he said, you're safer here. And I told you I don't want to be safe if it means being stuck. You're not stuck. Then why does it feel like every door I try to open gets slammed? In my face? They stared at each other. You think I want to trap you here? He asked. I think you don't like losing control, she said. This is not about control. Then what is it about? She demanded. He didn't answer. That was answer enough. She exhaled sharply. You know what scares me, she said. It's not you. It's the idea that someone can decide where I'm allowed to exist. That's not what's happening. It is, she said, and you're the only one who could be doing it. I said I'm not. And I don't believe you, she replied. Silence fell again. He broke it. If you want to leave, he said, you will. When? She asked. When it's safe. There it is, she said bitterly. Your favorite word. She turned toward the door, then stopped. I don't belong to your world, she said, and I don't belong in your house. He said nothing. I will find a way out, she said quietly, with or without your permission. Then she left. He stood there for a long time. Then he picked up his phone. Mr. Hahn, he said, she's getting suspicious. A pause. Change the approach. Make the next one look almost successful. That night, Eva watched Ivy pack a small box of her things. You're really leaving, Eva said. I'm trying, Ivy replied. Eva hesitated. And if it doesn't work? Ivy looked at her. Then something is very wrong. The invitation had arrived 3 days earlier. Eva had read it twice before placing it carefully on Jae-min's desk. Mira and Ji-ye are hosting it, she said. Half the city will be there. Investors, diplomats, press. He glanced at it. Send a donation. They asked for you, Eva said. Not your money. He looked at her then. People are starting to ask questions, she continued carefully. About us, about the wedding, about whether the alliance is still strong. Silence. And you think showing up will answer them, he said. I think not showing up will make them louder. He considered that. Finally, fine, we'll go. Eva exhaled. We? You're my fiancé, he said. Of course you're coming, she hesitated. What about Ivy? He didn't look at her. What about her? She's been here for weeks. It would look strange if she stayed behind. He thought for a second. Then, she can come. Eva didn't know why that answer unsettled her. On the night of the gala, Ivy almost refused to go. I don't belong at things like this, she said, standing in Eva's room while Eva fixed her hair. You belong because you're with me, Eva replied, and because everyone already knows you're here. That's exactly the problem, Eva smiled. Just think of it as people watching. Ivy hesitated. Will he be there? Eva's hand paused for a fraction of a second. Of course. It's his world. I don't want to get in the way. You won't, Eva said. You're my sister. The words should have felt comforting. They didn't. The ballroom was all light and glass and quiet power. Everyone who mattered was there. When Jae-min walked in, the room changed. Not dramatically, subtly. Conversation shifted. People turned. Phones disappeared. He didn't notice, or pretended not to. Eva stayed at his side, her hand resting lightly on his arm. Ivy walked a step behind them. At first, everything was normal. Introductions, polite smiles, empty compliments. Then the questions started. So this is your future sister-in-law? Mira said, smiling at Ivy. Yes, Eva replied. Ivy? Beautiful, Jae said. And so different. Different from me, Ava heard. Ivy smiled politely. Nice to meet you. Jamin was talking to a diplomat when it happened. A man Ivy didn't know stepped closer to her. You look like you're not enjoying yourself, he said lightly. I'm surviving, she replied. He laughed. Can I steal you for a drink? She hesitated. That won't be necessary. Jamin's voice was calm. Too calm. The man turned. I'm sorry, I didn't... She's with us, Jamin said. Ava looked at him. She's not a child. I know, he replied, but she's not alone either. The man smiled awkwardly and stepped back. Ivy stared at Jamin. I can talk to people. I'm aware. Then why did you do that? Because I don't trust him. You don't trust anyone, she shot back. They were still smiling, still polite, but the air between them had changed. Later, near the balcony, Ivy finally said it. You embarrassed me. He looked at her. That wasn't my intention. Your intentions are not the problem, she replied. Your need to control everything is. This is not about control. Then what is it about? She asked quietly. He didn't answer. You didn't even ask me if I wanted to talk to him, she continued. You just decided. This is not a safe room. It's a ballroom, she said, not a battlefield. You don't know the difference, he replied, and you don't know how to let people breathe, she said. They stared at each other. I'm going outside, she said, alone. He watched her walk away and followed, not immediately, but he followed. On the balcony, Ivy leaned against the railing. This is exactly what I meant, she said when he came out. You say you're not controlling me, but you don't even realize when you're doing it. This city is not kind to people who don't know how to protect themselves. And you think I need you to do it? I think you're under my roof, he said, which makes you my responsibility. There it is again, she said, that word. It's not a word, he replied. It's a fact. And when I leave your house, she asked. A pause. Then it won't be. She studied his face. You don't believe that? He didn't deny it. Inside, Eva was watching. So were her friends. Mira leaned closer. He followed her. Of course he did, Ji said. He's not subtle. Ava's smile was tight. You're reading too much into this. Are we? Mira asked. Because he never follows you. That one hurt. When they returned to the ballroom, the whispers had already started. Not loud, but present. Eva felt them like needles. In the car on the way home, no one spoke. Finally, Ivy said, I don't want to go to things like that again. That can be arranged, Jamin said. That's not what I meant, she replied. He knew. That night, Eva stood in front of the mirror for a long time. She kept seeing. The way he stepped in front of Ivy, the way he followed her outside, the way he never once looked back at her. And for the first time, she didn't just feel uneasy, she felt afraid. Ivy chose the restaurant because it was small, warm, and ordinary. No chandeliers, no security, no people who looked at you like you were a political event. Daniel was already there when she arrived. You look like someone who escaped a very expensive cage, he said, standing to hug her. She laughed. That obvious? A little. They sat. They ordered. And for the first 20 minutes, she almost forgot where she lived. So, Daniel said, stirring his drink, how bad is it really? She exhaled. Imagine a place where nothing is locked, but everything is decided. That sounds worse than locks. It is. At least locks are honest. He studied her. You're not just visiting your sister. No, she admitted. I'm stuck, and every time I try to leave, something goes wrong. Like what? Like apartments suddenly rejecting me, like plans collapsing for no reason. That's not normal. I know. Silence sat between them for a moment. I came to Seoul because of you, Daniel said finally, not for sightseeing. Her chest tightened. I don't want to rush you, he continued, but I need you to know I'm serious. She looked at him. I'm trying to build a life that belongs to me again. Then let me be part of it. She smiled softly. I want that. Their food arrived. They ate. They talked about her father, about her moving out, about the life she wanted, and for the first time in weeks, she felt normal. Then the first man appeared. He didn't look dangerous. That was what made him terrifying. "Excuse me," he said politely, leaning slightly toward Daniel. "There seems to be a problem." Daniel frowned. "With what?" "With this table." Ivy looked up. "We're in the middle of dinner." "Yes, Miss Carter, we know." Her stomach dropped. Another man appeared behind him, then a third near the door. "Sir," the first man said to Daniel, still polite, "your reservation has been canceled." "I'm sitting here," Daniel said slowly. "So no, it hasn't." "You're being asked to leave." Ivy stood. "Who sent you?" The man turned to her and bowed slightly. "You know who, Miss Carter." Her hands started to shake. "No," she said. "No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm afraid that's not an option." Daniel stood. "You can't just—" The second man put a hand on his shoulder. Not violent, not gentle. Final. "Sir," he said quietly, "please don't make this difficult." The entire restaurant was watching now. Ivy felt heat crawl up her neck. She looked at Daniel. "I'm sorry," she said. Then she turned to the men. "I'm coming. Let him go." Outside, her voice was shaking with rage. "Tell him this," she said. "Tell him he does not own my life." "Yes, Miss Carter." The argument happened the moment she walked into the house. She didn't take off her shoes. She didn't sit down. "Did you send them?" Jae-min was in the living room, reading. He looked up calmly. "Yes." Her laugh was sharp and disbelieving. "At least you're honest. He doesn't belong in your life. You don't get to decide that. He is not safe. He is a normal man," she shouted. "And you humiliated him. You humiliated me. You're alive. I didn't ask for this kind of protection." Silence slammed between them. "You don't get to erase people from my world because you're uncomfortable," she said. "He's a liability. I am not a file on your desk. You live under my roof." "Not for long," she said. "I swear to you." He looked at her for a long moment, then quietly. "You're under my protection." "And that's the problem," she said. "You think protection gives you ownership. It gives me responsibility. I am not your responsibility. You are while you're here." She stared at him like she hated him. "And if you ever do that again," she said, "I will disappear in a way even you can't control." She turned and walked away. He stayed where he was, and for the first time, he admitted the truth to himself. He was not doing this because of danger. He was doing it because the idea of losing her felt unbearable. In another part of the house, Ava had heard the raised voices. She didn't hear the words, but she saw Ivy's face when she passed, and she saw Jae-min standing very still in the living room, and she knew something had gone terribly, terribly wrong. Ivy didn't plan to get drunk. She planned to sit somewhere loud and anonymous and drink one glass of something that burned, then go home. That was the plan, but plans had been failing her lately. The bar was crowded, warm, and careless, in a way the house never was. She chose a stool at the counter, not a table. No hiding. "Whiskey," she said to the bartender. Then, after a second, "No, tequila." He raised an eyebrow. "Rough day?" "Rough life," she replied. The first shot went down too easily, the second one too. By the third, the tight buzzing knot in her chest had started to loosen. By the fourth, she stopped checking her phone. She laughed at something someone said. She didn't remember what. She told a story about her father and forgot the ending halfway through. She told the bartender she hated men in expensive suits, then told him she lived with one, then told him she was leaving, then told him she couldn't. At some point, someone slid into the empty seat beside her. He was clean-cut, friendly, too friendly. "You look like you're drinking a breakup," he said. She squinted at him. "I'm drinking a kidnapping." He laughed. "That bad? You have no idea." He ordered a drink for her. She didn't remember agreeing. The bar manager noticed before she did. He'd noticed her earlier, actually. Not because she was loud, because she wasn't. She looked wrong. Her eyes were glassy in a way that wasn't just alcohol. Her movements were loose, but not in a normal way. He leaned closer to the bartender. "Did she come in like this?" "No," the bartender said. "She was fine at first." The manager frowned and walked over. "Miss," he said gently, "are you here with someone?" She blinked up at him. "I'm here with bad decisions." He smiled, but his eyes stayed serious. "Do you have someone I can call for you?" She fumbled for her phone. It slipped out of her hand. "Call my sister," she said. He tried. No answer. Then he saw another number on her screen. Korean. He hesitated, then dialed. Jae-min was in a meeting when his phone vibrated. He didn't usually take calls in meetings, but he looked at the screen. Unknown number. He ignored it. It rang again. He excused himself. "This is Kang Jae-min." "Sir," a nervous voice said, "I'm the manager at a bar in Itaewon. A woman here has your number. She's not well." "What woman?" "Ivy Carter." Silence dropped into his chest like a stone. "Put her on the phone," he said. "Ivy," he said when he heard her breathing. "Hmm?" she replied. "You sound like a headache." "Where are you?" "In a place where the lights don't judge you." "Give the phone to the manager," she laughed. "Bossy." The manager took it back. "She's very intoxicated," he said, "but it doesn't look normal. I think she may have been helped." "Stay with her," Jamin said. "I'm coming." He arrived in less than 15 minutes. The bar went quiet around him without meaning to. He saw her immediately. She was slumped on the counter, her head resting on her arms. She looked small. He walked to her. "Ivy." She lifted her head. Her eyes tried to focus. "Oh," she said, "you're real." "Yes." She frowned at his face. "You look annoyed." "I am." She smiled. "Good," he turned to the manager. "What did she drink?" "4 shots. But, sir, I've seen 4 shots. This isn't 4 shots." He nodded once. He slipped an arm around her. She leaned into him without thinking. "Hey," she murmured. "You're warm. I'm taking you home." "No," she said immediately. "Your house is a cage." "Not tonight." She tried to stand, failed. He lifted her easily, paid the bill, and carried her out. In the car, she curled against the door at first, then slowly leaned into him. "You smell expensive," she said. He didn't answer. She laughed quietly. "You ruined my date." "I know. You ruin a lot of things." He looked at her. She was not angry, just loose, honest. "You're like a very handsome prison," she said. "That's not a compliment." "It is a little." She closed her eyes, then opened them again. "You know what's funny?" she said. "I am nothing like Eva." He looked at her more carefully. "Eva is sharp, like glass," she continued. "Everything about her is careful." "And you?" he asked. "I'm a mess," she said, and laughed. Then her face fell. "You make me feel small," she said suddenly, "and I hate that." He said nothing. She shifted closer. Her head fell against his shoulder. "You know what's really funny?" she whispered. "What?" "I think if I met you first, I would have hated you." He almost smiled. Almost. Then he said, "Where were you last year? March." She blinked at him. "Why? Do you ask?" "Answer me." She frowned, thinking. "Boston. Finishing my master's. I barely slept that year." He looked at her face, at the way she frowned when she concentrated, at the softness in her voice, and the thought formed, slow and precise. "I got the wrong twin." The words didn't leave his mouth, but they landed in his mind like a gunshot. He closed his eyes briefly. When they arrived, he did not take her to her room. He took her to the sitting room, set her gently on the couch. She blinked up at him. "Don't leave," she said. "I'm not." He straightened and spoke to Mr. Han on the phone. "Check the CCTV at the bar. I think someone helped her drink more than she wanted." A pause. "Find out who." Another pause. "Yes. Make sure he learned something." When he returned, she was trying to sit up. She failed. He knelt in front of her. Easy. She looked at him for a long moment, then very slowly she lifted her hand and touched his face. "You're not a good person," she said. "I know. But you're very gentle tonight." He didn't move. She leaned forward and kissed him. It was not careful. It was not planned. It was soft and messy and wrong. He froze. Then she pulled back, confused. "Oh," she said, "that was a mistake." She closed her eyes and slumped sideways. He caught her before she fell and sat there holding her, staring at nothing, knowing absolutely that nothing in his life was going to be simple ever again. Ivy woke up with a headache and the distinct feeling that something was wrong. Not physically, emotionally. Her mouth was dry, her head was heavy, and her body felt unfamiliar. She sat up slowly. She was in her bed. Not the sitting room, not the clothes she'd worn out. Someone had changed her. Her stomach dropped. She pushed the blanket back and stood too fast. The room tilted. She caught the edge of the bed and waited until the world settled. Then she remembered. The bar, the car, his arms, and her breath caught. No, 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 no. She showered like she was trying to erase something. When she came downstairs, Eva was already in the dining room. "You look like death," Eva said. "Thank you." "Rough night?" Ivy hesitated. "I went out." Eva's eyes sharpened. "Alone?" "Yes." "And you came back? How?" Ivy swallowed. "With help." Eva smiled slightly. "From who?" Before Ivy could answer, Jaymeen walked in. Silence thickened the room. "I'm fine," Ivy said too quickly. I'm okay now. Thank you for last night." "You were not in a state to be alone," he replied. "That doesn't mean it means exactly that." Eva looked between them. "What happened last night?" "Nothing," Ivy said. Immediately. Jaemin did not correct her. That scared her more than if he had. Later, she found him in the study. She closed the door behind her. "We need to talk." He nodded. "Yes." She folded her arms. "About last night." "You were drugged." Her eyes widened. "What?" "I checked the cameras. A man bought you a drink. You didn't see him pour anything, but your symptoms don't match alcohol." She felt cold. "He will not do that again," Jaymeen added calmly. "What does that mean?" "It means he has learned." She swallowed. "Thank you for helping me." "That's not why you're here." She looked away. "I don't remember everything clearly," she said, "but I remember enough to know that I crossed a line." "You were not in control." "That doesn't make it nothing," she said quietly. He studied her. "It was a mistake," she said. "It can't happen again." Silence stretched. "You don't get to decide that alone," he said. She stared at him. "What?" "You don't get to pretend it didn't matter." "It didn't," she said too quickly. "It was just confusion, alcohol, fear, and honesty," he said. "That's not fair. Neither is lying to yourself." Her voice shook. "I am not in love with you." "I didn't say you were." "You're engaged to my sister." "Yes, and I am leaving this house." He said nothing. "That kiss was a mistake," she repeated, "and you need to let it be one." He walked closer, not threatening, not touching, just close enough that she had to look at him. "You don't kiss people you don't feel anything for," he said quietly. "You don't know what I feel. I know what you're running from. That's not your business. It became my business when you kissed me." She shook her head. "I was not myself." "And when you are?" he asked. Silence. "That doesn't matter," she said, "because it's not going to happen again." "Why?" he asked. "Because I won't let it." She stepped back. "You saved me last night," she said. "Thank you, but that doesn't give you any right to my heart." He watched her. "I don't want your gratitude," he said. "I want your honesty." "You can't have it." She opened the door. "And if you ever bring this up again," she said, "I will leave this house even if I have to sleep in a hotel." She left. In another part of the house, Eva sat with her phone in her hand. She had already heard enough. The way Ivy had avoided her eyes, the way Jae-min had gone silent when nothing happened. She called Mira. "I think," Eva said carefully, "my sister is in trouble." That afternoon, Mr. Han stood in front of Jae-min's desk. "The man from the bar has been dealt with." "Good." "And the Carter family." Representatives called again. "They want to set a wedding date." Jae-min didn't answer immediately. Then, "Tell them I'll confirm soon." That night, he stood by the window again and admitted the truth. He was no longer protecting her. He was planning around her. Eva did not confront either of them. That was the first decision. She watched instead. She watched Ivy avoid Jae-min in hallways. She watched Jae-min notice anyway. She watched the silences stretch longer than they should, and she understood something simple and terrifying. Whatever had happened, it had changed the balance of the house. She called Mira. "I need you to be honest with me," Eva said. Mira hesitated. "About what?" "About what you and Ji saw at the gala." A pause. "He watches her," Mira said quietly. "Not the way men watch strangers. The way men watch something they're afraid to lose." Eva closed her eyes. "Are you sure?" "Yes." 2 days later, Ivy's phone rang while she was in a bookstore cafe. Unknown number, she ignored it. It rang again, she picked up. "Miss Carter," a man said politely, "we represent a development company. We'd like to revisit your apartment application." Her heart jumped. "Really?" "Yes. There was a misunderstanding. If you're free, we can meet today." She almost laughed. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I'm free." The cafe was quiet. The man was polite. Too polite. They talked for 10 minutes before Ivy realized he wasn't asking normal questions. He wasn't asking about her income or her guarantor. He was asking about where she lived, who she lived with, whether she was alone often. She stood up slowly. "I'm not interested anymore." The man smiled. "That's unfortunate," and said nothing else. She didn't go home. She went to Daniel's place. She needed to feel normal. Half an hour later, Jae-min's phone rang. "Sir," Mr. Han said. She was approached. "Where?" "A cafe near Hongdae. The man wasn't ours." Silence. "Which family?" Jae-min asked. "Jong." The room went cold. He did not send men. He went himself. Daniel opened the door and froze. "You," Daniel said. "Yes," Jae-min replied. "Where is she?" Ivy appeared behind him. "What are you doing here?" "You're not safe." "I am not a child." "You were followed." Her face went pale. "By who?" "Not by me." She believed him. That scared her. They argued, not loudly, sharply. "You don't get to show up in people's houses," she said. "They're looking at you now," he replied. "That changes everything." "I didn't ask for this. And yet it's happening." Daniel watched them like he didn't exist. Finally, he said, "You should leave." Jae-min looked at him. "This is bigger than you," he said calmly. Daniel felt it. The power. The finality. When they left, someone was already watching from across the street and making a call. That night, Ava heard about it. Not from them, from someone else. "They say Kang Jae-min personally went to retrieve a woman from a normal apartment," Ji-hye said lightly on the phone. "People are talking." Eva said nothing, but something inside her went very, very still. Later, alone in her room, Eva finally admitted the truth. It wasn't imagination. It wasn't paranoia. It was happening. And if it was happening, she would not be the one who lost. Eva did not cry when she made the call. She sat at her vanity, perfectly still, phone in her hand, and listened to the ringing tone like it was a verdict. When the line connected, she said only one thing. "I know something you want." The Jong family did not trust easily, but they listened. They had already noticed. They had already been watching. Eva didn't give them everything. She gave them just enough. "She lives in the house," Eva said calmly. "She moves without guards. She thinks she's invisible." "And Kang Jae-min?" the voice asked. "He will burn the world if she disappears," Ava replied, "but he won't be able to admit why." Silence. Then, "Send us her schedule." Eva closed her eyes and sent it. Ivy didn't know any of this. She was tired of tension, tired of watching her words, tired of feeling like the air changed when he walked into a room. She was meeting Daniel to tell him goodbye, not dramatically, not for closure, just to end the confusion. They chose a quiet place, early evening, public. "I think I need to